Hi, I'm Dr. Jennifer Bird. I'm one of the faculty people teaching this course for PCC online. So welcome to Module 10. You've made it to the end of the term. We're calling this module Alternative Paths, and I hope you'll bear with us on that name. It was hard to come up with an appropriate name, but we're asking you to look at 3 additional religious traditions that are practiced around the world. We've chosen Scientology, Wicca, and Baha'i. So let me explain why we've chosen those 3. Scientology is partly because this one does show up in world religions intro texts, and people often want to understand it better because a lot of people only know about this through some of the scandals you might have heard about related to various people in this tradition. And I think it's good to be well informed, right? And so that's one of the reasons people often ask about it. So here, you get to learn about it. The second reason we're choosing Scientology, though, is because it stands as a really interesting test case. You've spent this term thinking about world religions, thinking about what kinds of things tend to be a part of a movement that then allow us to call it a religion, right? It's all very subjective. And so this becomes a really interesting test case. What do you think? Does Scientology qualify? Now, I do need to be clear that federally speaking, legally speaking, it is a religious tradition, okay? But what do you think? So that's Scientology. And also there's a House of Scientology in downtown Portland if you're interested in learning more. The second we've chosen is Wicca. Wicca, as you will learn, if you don't already know, is part of more of an umbrella tradition, paganism. And the words pagan and Wicca might sound scary to some of you. They might sound just normal and blah to some of you as well. But one of the reasons we wanted to have this in this section is I think it's really helpful, again, to be informed. What is going on for people who practice this tradition? What are their motivations? What are their practices? What kinds of things do they stand for? What kinds of things are they actually doing when they get together for some form of ritual? I think it's really helpful to be grounded in that and well informed. And the reading for this is actually written by someone who is a practitioner who also happens to be from the Pacific Northwest. Finally, we're asking you to learn about Baha'i. Baha'i is the youngest or the most recently started world religion, and it is practiced around the world. It has a much smaller population, if you will, than most other world religions, and that's why it doesn't tend to make it into regular, the top 6 or whatever that people tend to study. But Baha'i is the youngest, the most recent. It is a branch off of Islam. So it's going to bring some of that patriarchal framework or some of the basics of Islam with it, but it is also something that was started in the 20th century. So it has some more modern or more current thinkings about humanity and about how we relate to one another. I think you'll find Baha'i a rather interesting religious tradition to learn about. It's also worth noting, as the reading points out for us, that there are people who practice Baha'i who are in many positions around the world that are in institutions or in systems, frameworks that are trying to find world peace, that are working toward resolving differences and conflicts. So I think that's really interesting, and it says something positive, very strongly positive about Baha'i, if you ask me. So Scientology, Wicca, and Baha'i, those are the 3 traditions we're asking you to learn about, and of course to engage in your discussions and your journals in the same way that you have all term. We do hope that's a nice way to wrap up the term. Hope it's a productive week for you.